So here's a comment. I'll let you respond to this. Agents make more money with approved carriers than BCOs.
That is not correct at all.
Okay, break it down.
What we have been doing or experiencing for the last 6+ years now is, just for round numbers, say I've got a load that pays $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
BCO is going to make, depending on if he's pulling a company trailer or his own trailer, but he's going to make between 66 and 75% of that.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, if I've got that load that pays $2,000 and I post it to the board, and in an hour, an outside contract carrier is the only person that's called on it. They usually start asking for $2,200 when my first offer's $17.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to make profit off the load when it's a contract carrier. And we usually end up doing a negotiation. And I usually end up paying them $1,800 or $1,900. And Landstar is going to take their 60% of that profit.
So the contract is made to disincentivize you from not using a BCO? Or
pretty much.
Okay. So just so we're clear, if an agent gets paid $2,000 for a load and they gave it away for $1,000, Landstar's taking 60% of that money from them.
Yes. Or even more. Just depends on the contract that you have with Landstar. Not all agents have the same contract. And I know a lot of BCOs think, oh, the agent's taking money off the load. The way the Landstar system's set up, what we bill is what the load pays. There's no way an agent can make anything extra besides his percentage of line haul only.
Mm-hmm.
Is the only thing the agent gets paid on. We don't get any paid off of stops or hazmat or detention or anything else. Just the agent gets paid off of line haul only. And what the customer pays Landstar matches what the agent pays the BCO.
Yeah. I remember in orientation on day one, this is March of 2014, I'd gotten my log into the board and I'm playing with it and I'm looking and I see a load. I don't know. I was in Indy, so maybe it was from Indy going somewhere. And I saw it, and then the rate went up, and the rate went up, and the rate went up, just in a matter of a few hours. So I was in there with Alexander Jordan, and I said, hey, I mean, so how's this? They just keep adding money to it. And he said, that's probably coming out of their pocket. I went, oh, so in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, well, the agent's just going to give it out for this much and then they'll keep going up. And he was like, no, it's, and then he explained to me how it works. It's whatever Landstar bills is what you're getting. But, it's possible that if it's a direct customer, the agent may have to be pulling out of their money out of their own pocket or trying to get Landstar to throw in to get that load covered. BCOs, well, I always say they act like, the axis of the universe runs to the top of their precious little head. But it would do them well to understand more about how the agent gets paid. And you know what? And I didn't know it until I was on a conversation with you one day, and I just asked you. Mm-hmm. This is probably 2016, and I'm like, because I always felt such a get on the phone, get the load book, get off the phone. I never had conversations, and I finally just went, well, Scott, how's this work? And you explained this very thing to me about approved carriers and BCOs, and I went, holy crap. That's so simple, and it makes so much sense. But most BCOs don't know that because they're talking to some idiot on Facebook or somebody on the CB radio, and, so they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
The way the Landstar system's set up for the agent, there's no way that a load can pay $3,000 from the shipper and the agent only pay you $2,000. There's just no way it can be done. What the shipper pays is what the agent, is offering to the BCO with the breakdown of line haul, fuel, and any accessorials that there may be. There's no way, the way the system's set up, there's no way an agent can skim any money from the load. And I hear it all the time, and see it on the pages, on the different Landstar pages. That's just the mentality of the drivers thinking, oh, that agent's taking money off of that load. It just don't happen.
Yeah.
Now, when you see postings out there by what I deem as copy and paste agents, and because all they're doing is copying from the broker boards and putting it over on the Landstar boards. But prior to them hitting post, they look and see if that load's already posted. And what I have found is when you see a load posted 19 times, whatever the cheapest price is pretty much what the load actually pays. And then each copy and paste posting after that, they're adding $50, $100, $500.
Trying to get you to call.
Yep, just trying to buy that phone call. And then when you do, it's either, well, they're not willing to pay that, or they can legitimately go to the 3PL and say, hey, I found you a truck, but it's going to cost this much. Would you be willing to pay that?
I had a situation one time, and I don't know what happened. I made some guesses. When I had booked a guy on a load, I think it was out of Wisconsin going, I don't know, to Ohio. And I got a call that the load had canceled. And I'm like, well, crap. So I reset my search and start looking. And that same load popped up with another agent that I know. It's third party, but I know her. And I'm like, what the hell? Why not? So I called her and I said, hey, call about this load. And she's like, yeah, it's available. Now it was $600 cheaper or whatever it was. Still within my parameters. You know, ours was $2,000 a day up until a couple months ago. Everything about it was still a good load as far as I was concerned. And I said, so it's still available. And she's like, yeah, you want to book it? And I'm like, matter of fact, I do. And so I booked it again. I think one of two things happened. Either they called back after I booked it with him and they wanted to cut the rate. And either A, he told them to jump in the lake. No. Or he called me and told me it canceled because he didn't want to get screamed at by me. One or the other, you know. But either way, you know, he could have called me and said, hey, they want to cut the rate. And I probably stayed on it. But I'm sure he's been screamed at by so many BCOs that he was like, well, hell, I'm not doing that. I'll just tell him that it canceled. And then I ended up booking the exact same load for less money. But at the end of the day, I honestly don't care. They gave me a freight bill. We picked the load up. We delivered it, scanned the damn paperwork, and we got paid. There's just a bunch of this stuff that I just can't get hung up on because it doesn't matter, you know. Lee says, I've been being lied to from 2 different agents I've worked with for years. Or they just don't know. Maybe they made it up. I mean, hell, look at Facebook. People just make shit up all the time, you know. Yeah. So I mean, maybe they believe it to be true and have told you, and they're just full of crap, you know.